Well, alright, welcome back to the rest of the story. It's the end of the day. It's a catch-up video because, well, I told you I was going to start changing the oil in the 4640. That didn't happen. I haven't gotten to it yet. I got to the point where I was looking for an oil drum to drop the oil out into, and it just didn't happen. So we're getting into spring work. Last video, spring planning. Well, yeah, we're kind of getting there. We got to clean up everything. The bench has to be cleaned up. All of the old corn kernels and mice droppings. Yes, mice droppings, because they tend to move into the shed in the winter. We went through 2 of these. So about 8 pounds of mouse and rat poison, trying to keep the population in check. We have gone through, moved a bunch of machinery around. Maybe you guys can tell, maybe you can't. It's right around the corner. I'll get to it in a minute. I messed up last year. Yep, my mistake. The reason these are all pulled off is because I blame the weather. I was planning on seeding down some waterways and part of my field driveway down at my place last year, and as we all know, and we want to put last year behind us, but I had the grain drill full of seed and I never got a chance to actually run it out. So what happens is the birds like to get into the grain drill, and the mice too, don't worry, they like to stay involved, but the birds like to get down, and you see where all the tubes are missing. But the birds get down in here and they pull out all of the grain, and when they do that, it drops down into the seed tubes, or the rubber tubes, and in turn it plugs this right back here. All these are still plugged yet because the tubes connect into these, and I'm going to go through probably tomorrow the list of shed work / shop work is getting really long, and it's pretty well to the point where we're not really sure how much longer we have until field work. The day that we start in the field is always a moving target. Grandpa always used to keep track on his calendar in the milk house. Every day when he went out and started chores in the morning, he'd write the temperature that morning when he would go out to do chores. And then he also put like start in the field, started sowing, started planting. In my lifetime, we've never used that calendar to look back on it, but I think he used it as a frame reference, like looking back himself, because he'd always reference, well, last year it was this date, or last year it was this date. Well, the problem is, I was constantly looking back last year and wondering what we did, how we did it last year. Isn't a very good indicator of what you're going to be doing this year. So all the grass seed really hasn't been bothered. It's actually fine. A little bit of alfalfa mixed in there. But the mice, they get down in here, which is very common. I'm going to go through, hit it with the shop vac, clean all that out. Grease it, put the tubes back on, make sure everything is freed up, make sure all of the seed openers, the disc openers are loose and free, and this will get put over into the corner out of the way. Same thing with the tractors. You guys already know what I'm going to do with the tractors. Let's see here, the 4020 needs some attention, of course, and I'm going to probably start just, if it's got a motor, it's probably going to get the oil dropped out of it. My Honda, that's going to have a Call of Duty instance here really quick where I'm going to start running around on the four-wheeler. It's, what is it, the 11th of March? 10th of March, 11th of March, and it's feeling like spring. You got to be cautious saying that spring is here. Granted, I think it starts officially like the 21st, so we're getting there. But last year when Dad bought when he bought that trailer, it was the 12th or 10th of April last year, and Dad and Ryan were standing in a rain, sleet, snowstorm waiting on that auction, which on the auctions that I did, it was online. The one that I bought the Rake on, and I'll get to the Rake really quick. We can start walking down there actually. The auction that I bought the Rake on, it was a local auction that was an on-site auction while you could bid from your home. It's the first time. It was the Scott Implement annual auction. It was the first year that they had the online auctioning on auction time, which was awesome, by the way. They were asking what we thought of it, and it really wasn't that bad of a day this year when they were doing the auction. The last 2 years were kind of iffy. Ryan went last year. He didn't buy anything, but he just went for going to an auction. And I went 2 years ago, and that one was pretty nasty. I mean, it was snowing the whole time. So being able to buy this, if you can go and see it beforehand and then bid on it online, is really nice. But the downside to bidding online against a floor bidder or somebody that has actually gone to the sale, the one downside to it I saw, kind of felt, was when somebody has waited till the 10th to last item, and this was one of the last items that sold on that particular lot. The sale had been going on since 9. It ran until 3:30, and this sold like somewhere around 2:30, somewhere in there. So somebody that went to the sale, as an example, went all day, waited around all day, maybe had a burger, kind of just hung around, really waiting for him to get caught up to the item that you went to buy, and then find out that there's somebody that sat at home drinking some coffee. Actually, I was doing book work, but keeping an eye on the computer while the sale's going on, and then finding out that some guy that was sitting at home in the comfort of his own house was bidding on the item that you just stood around all day for. The floor bidders tend to run up the price a little bit more. This was the best rake on the sale as far as I'm concerned. As far as the roller bar rakes, the other one that Dad and I originally went to go look at went for $1,600. I paid $26 for this. Yeah, 26, pretty sure. It's a bit of money, it really is, but thanks to JB Caldwell, I'm pretty sure I said your name right. You referenced the Pennsylvania dealer, Aftermarket Parts. I called them this morning. Parts are on their way. What I ordered was the 2 bars here. So this bar and this bar are going to be replaced. It's a kit for the ends here. So the burr, the washer, the dust cap, the bolt, the bearings are all coming in those kits. And this one's actually getting kind of rough. We're going to go through and do all of the arms. You can take this bolt out. It's really easy to take these off, on and off really quick. So we got 10 of those, the 2 bars, and then 100 teeth coming. Now it seems like that could be kind of expensive, especially if you buy the good New Holland teeth, or the rubbered cushioned teeth, like these guys right here. Well, I asked the parts guy, and I was really wondering what was the point of doing these rubber teeth, because that's what Grandpa had, and I was trying to not be super nostalgic and say, well, I'm going to run this rake just like how my grandpa used to, but these are $5.37 is what I was quoted at the time, and this is what they like to do right here. See, they are swiping that way, so their tension is down here, and they shear off just like that. And I was asking, is it really worth paying over $500 to put all new teeth with the rubber cushioning on it, or is it worth going with the metal teeth for $1.30 something? And he said that out there, for the amount of rocks that they have in the area they're in, a lot of the guys like to run the rubber cushion teeth. But he said the farther west he sends parts, which we're the Midwest, of course, he says guys are actually going with the metal teeth with the spring built in on them. And that made a lot more sense to me, as opposed to another $4 for a tooth that could be missing after the first use. Highly unlikely. We're not going to just completely abuse this thing. It's not going to get drug over as many acres as my grandpa's did, but when we do use it, it is going to be used very well. Another thing too, and we're actually heading out to the cattle for those of you that are still here. I was also asked or mentioned that if I don't trust these welds, to cut it out and then go ahead and put an inner tube in there and then weld it up myself. The problem with that is this bar is bent, the other bar is bent that we already have off. They're shook. The other bar is actually hitting when it goes around. Right here you can see where the paint is rusty. That's where the other bar was connecting, so it had a pretty good bend in it. This video is getting long, so let's get out and check the cows. So that's where I'm at with that. Thank you very much for giving me that contact information. I bought all those parts, and I'm pretty sure it was with shipping. It's going to be a little over, I guess I won't know until I see the receipt, but it's going to be a little over the cost of one of the crossbars that hold the teeth, if I would have bought it local. $550 just to buy one of those, plus the teeth. If I would have done it local, same thing. I'll let you know once we start doing more of the tear down on that rake. I'm going to pull the teeth off of those bars, of course, but I'm going to keep the bolts and then just replace it with the new teeth. Electric wrench, impact, I'll be able to do that fairly quick. So hey girls, no calves yet. That's the biggest thing that I keep an eye out for. I'm looking forward to calves. I'm not super duper bubbly as maybe some people would prefer, but I'm honest, and I really am looking forward to having some calves to take care of. The bedding situation is under control. We have plenty of bedding. We made probably more than we needed to for the winter we had, but it's not over yet. But we could have been short if the winter had continued on the way it had started. So we were already basically in winter weather in November, which, you know, it's happened throughout my life. But last year was just going to be difficult the whole way through. So we ended up making as much fodder as we could for the time we were given. And we're sitting all right. We got a bunch over there yet. We got these right here and about 15 or 16 up in the field yet. We're going to have to start hauling some out to Ryan's place. We got to haul a few down to my place. But the big thing now is if we start getting a bunch of wet weather, it starts getting cold. Not even cold. Wet cows can be just as bad as, well, probably worse than cold cows. And that's pretty much all I'm doing. I got a bit of a bed pack started here. The problem with bedding in the shed, the barn, too overly much is I don't really want everybody getting crowded in there. There's 17 out here at the moment, and I don't want to encourage everybody just to crowd up in there. I mean, I don't need them knocking each other around. They are missing a little bit of hair from getting their ride on the trailer, but other than that, I think they're gonna perk up just fine. The plan is to let them out in the pasture and clean the grass up out there that is keeled over before it really starts to green up, but it's got to firm up a little bit. Now, somebody did make the comment that these aren't red Angus. Oh, yeah, I agree with you. I don't have any way of knowing that these are 100% purebred red Angus. Chances are very likely that they're not. They're probably some type of cross. I don't really care if they're 100% registered Red Angus. That is the herd that I had back in 2012. It was a registered herd. I like the red cattle. Maybe that's just a re-clarification as far as the cows I have, the cows I'm raising. I just like redheads. I think they look nicer. They're prettier to look at in a green pasture. I mean, I do have one that I'm awfully suspicious of, where she's got a little, almost looks like a little bit of Guernsey, Jersey in her. But we'll see what her calf looks like. I mean, I'm raising feeder cattle. I'll keep the heifers out of the cows I like. I actually have one that really caught my attention. You guys want to see her quick? Hey, number 11. I'm pretty sure she was hanging out in here. I just like her frame. I like her build. Hey! Yeah, these guys are super wild. You gotta be really careful with them. Yep, it's number 11. I just like her frame. Like how she's built. I mean, between her head, her whole frame and demeanor is nice. A couple of these are a little touchier, but definitely going to be writing her number down when I go through and retag everybody. Here's your 3 lines that indicates the trimesters are in. Oh! And, yeah. Anxiously waiting for calves. The mild weather like this is great. It beats 3 feet of snow, but oh well. Yeah, so the black-haired girls, they don't bother me either, by the way. I'm either going to trade them off with my dad, because he's got a bunch of red cattle in his herd, or I'll just keep these guys and I'll incorporate them in my group and gradually cull out for the genetics that I'm looking for. So it's a nice one too. So I agree with you though. Some people did agree, did make the comments that they're quiet. I mean, yeah, say she's got some white in her udder, but they're quiet. They need a hay bale. I should probably go ahead and do that yet. So, yeah, sorry for making the video so long. I do feel like I ramble way too much, but seems like I get kind of a stronger calling for me to talk to you guys and communicate with you, and at least I try to explain what's all really going on. And some people that complain just to complain because nothing happens on this channel. Well, a lot goes on. It's just to keep you somewhat updated. There's not always a tractor running every single day. So with the amount of hay we're going to be making this summer, with me raising calves, watching cows, I think this is probably going to be one of the more enjoyable years I've had in a while. Sounds kind of depressing, doesn't it? But it's true. I got more to look forward to this year than I have in the last year actually. I'd say it was actually, I had a lot to look forward to other than the weather, which looks to me like it's getting ready to dump on us again. A little concerning because they were calling for no rain, and that looks an awful lot like a rain system coming in. Hopefully not thunderstorms and hail and everything else, which isn't out of the question for this time of year. I mean, you do have a sporadic weather event. So, what was I talking about? The rake? Yeah, I know. It's time to end this video. You guys will keep getting more updates on the regular from here on out. For those of you that care, I guess that's the way to say it. Not trying to sound depressing, because I'm not depressed. I got a little bundle of joy at home that Relina is definitely growing like a weed. So, she's happy though. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Take care, take it easy, keep in touch. Uploading dates. From here on out, I'm going to try to upload 4 days a week. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe I should put it down in the description so you guys can watch regularly. If you guys get sick of me, maybe I need to cut it down again. But I think 4 videos a week for the time being is a pretty good number. If I start to get backed up with videos, I'll up it back up to 5 for a while. So I'll talk to you later.